Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Law School. Na mi naona kaa tutakuwa tunaanza na maombi kwanza. The way I've struggled here for like 20 minutes. But then let's just do that. Let's just invite our best friend, the Holy Ghost, to come and join us on this episode. As I film, I need to do this. It needs to get done today. So let's just, bow your heads and close your eyes. Holy Ghost, we welcome you into this space. Have rule, reign, and dominion over everything that we talk about today, and may it be a blessing and an encouragement to everyone who listens to it. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. So, venye nimesumbuka hapa, I had to pray. By the prayer is so important. So welcome back to another episode of I found a name for the series, so I'll be calling it Journey to Law School because that's essentially what it is. I'm saying I found, but I think God gave me that name. Niliona nimesumbuka, nimejaribu kufind a name for it. Sijui nilikuwa nasema sijui ati made by grace. going along with the name of the channel. I was like grace branded. Nikaona we. So it's true. I had divine enablement through this journey, but what essentially I'm talking about is the journey to law school. So, forgive me. Nilikuwa na kahoma kidogo. Actually, si kahoma kadogo. It was a big deal, but I'm getting better. I'm actually 100%. Hizi tu ni vitu ndogo ndogo. So, today I wanted to talk about, before it gets dark, najipatanga tu hapa saa zile, hakuna tu lights. Mniombe ninunue ring light so that this will not be an issue. We can do this whenever, wherever, sana sana hapa, because this is where we said that we'll be meeting for these videos. So today I wanted to talk about my second and third year, and there's an important factor in this because I can tell you I really saw God. In my first year of school, there wasn't much happening. I was just living the life. I was like, I'm living the dream. So I was just enjoying life. I really didn't think about my education in terms of like having a strategy, kusoma sana, put a lot of effort in school. I really wasn't. I was just enjoying life. I was just a normal teenager because I was a teenager, just enjoying life, just enjoying the freedom of being away from home, just enjoying new people, new individuals, new places. So I was just doing that strictly. I was strictly eating life with a big spoon. So second year comes along and I start thinking, remember that lady I told you in the last episode who told us people start falling off at second year. So I started thinking, maybe I should start putting more effort. And also my grades were not good. It was showing that I was not putting effort. So a couple of my friends start, telling me about going to the National Library. But then I love that place, Bakasai. I love that place. It's so chill. Kwanza the new building that the fourth president of Kenya, left us with. It's so beautiful. And I can't even believe you just have to pay 20 bob because it's almost free. I think that 20 bob, I don't even know what it's for. Because for the services they have there and for everything that they provide there, it's it has a quiet space for you to work. Sometimes I go nowadays whenever I need to do like research, or I just need a quiet place to just read or do something or get some work done. I remember I used to go there when I was doing my project as well. When I was finishing out my degree, I used to go there. So it's a really nice place, and it has, for the amenities that are there, for the resources and everything. I think 20 Bob is just a small, so it's open to everyone. It's open to everyone. So my friends started telling me about it, and I thought maybe I should start actually putting effort into what I'm doing. And so, what is more serious than traveling to study and going to the National Library? So, on the first semester of my second year, I started doing that. And then I did that. It was fun. I was kind of putting in effort, but I was still, let me call myself, I hate to use that word, but it's for real. I was half-assing it. I was not, I was I was just doing the bare minimum just to get me by and calling it effort. So, but second year was not a joke. Vile ilituchapa chapa. So the second semester comes along, and that's when the exams usually come out. So as much as I've been going to the library and trying to put in effort, I failed. I failed. And it was so bad. But have you ever been shocked that your little effort was not good enough? Have you ever been shocked that your little effort was not good enough? For example, the way somebody wants to have a conversation, they call you on the phone and they have 2 bob. Simu inakatika, afu unashangaa. Mbona unashangaa na huku umeweka credit? Like, even if you want to have a proper call, if you want to have a proper conversation, you either buy minutes or you invest in credit. You don't just shtuka when inakatika and then you expect sijui what you expected. Anyway, so that's not even a good analogy. I don't even know where it came from. So that's not a good analogy. So I failed my exam, but in second year, so many things were happening. Around that time, a lot was going on. So much was going on. And so, I don't know. I always get so distracted when I'm sitting here because people are passing by. I get distracted a lot, but I'm going to try to focus. So, after failing, I remember I went to the library, now our school library, and I sat there. I was listening to this song from Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect ilitokeanga now when we were in first year. Or that's when we watched it. But I remember there was a song by this guy called, I think alikuwa anajiita Andy Grammer. And the fact that I can even remember. Alikuwa anaitwa Andy Grammer. And there's this song that was on Pitch Perfect. And it used to go like, you gotta keep your head up. Oh, you can let your head down. Yeah, gotta keep your head up. So I went to the library. I consoled myself with that song. Because I was just so shocked that, the way you can be getting by doing very little, but this time you have put in some little bit of effort, and even that didn't count. So I was down. Nilikuwa down because of that. So I just went there, and then it was on a Friday when I was listening to that song at the library. And I was down in the dumps for like 3 days. But those 3 days really did so much harm because I ended up getting ulcers and I ended up actually getting sick. but I was only stressed out for 3 days. But I actually ended up getting sick. And then when I was now recovering, I was telling God, like, because I remember I was on meds for, was it almost a month or less, or I don't even remember. But I remember it was more than 2 weeks, because whatever issues I was having, they were like serious. And I remember I was taking so much medication at the time. Hapo zingine zilikuwa zinanuka skuma. Matablets kubwa hizi za white zinanuka skuma. I will never forget. And then some of the side effects were like, I don't know why, but I used to feel like my stomach is on fire. And the only thing that would like quench that fire was like eating. It never made any sense. So, but so a lot was happening. And then around the time my mom and I had a very like serious discussion, because we were like, but I think it was not at that time. It was now later. It was now later because see, we're in second semester. We are the exams of first sem zimetokea. I found out I failed after putting my mediocre effort and traveling to the National Library. I've still failed. And then I've gotten sick and now I'm recovering. And then I just had like we had a serious conversation, because even after that second semester, I failed 2 more papers. Manzejo. Like ilikuwa tu kuongezewa viboko. So it got worse. It didn't get better. And this time, that paper was one of the papers really like, it put a dent into it, because I remember we did that paper 3 times. Me and some of my friends who failed that paper. We did it 3 times. We did it that time in second semester. Then there was a September cohort. We were the May cohort. So there was a September cohort. So they were in 2.1 when we were in 2.2. Second year, second sem, they were in second year, first sem. So they used to do their exams in April, because they would come back for second semester in January. So we came back, we did it, we failed again. And then now we had to wait. We had to wait for when we were in third year to do it with the second years now who are behind us, when they were going to do it in second sem. And at that time, it was so serious, because if we didn't pass, we wouldn't go to fourth year. We'd be held back. Because essentially, when you are going to fourth year, you're not supposed to go with any supplementary, with any failed papers. So it was serious. So one of those papers that I failed when I was in second year was just one of the ones that hiyo ilikuwa tu kali sana. But I remember before going to third year, now when I failed again, or around that time when I was sick, around that second semester, my mom and I had a conversation and we were like, you're in second year, ujaenda sana. If this thing is too hard for you, like the school fees is a lot, you can decide to do something else. See must, by the way. See must. Are you sure you want to do this? And then we decided, I was like, eh. But I think one of the most freeing things was getting sick and getting stressed about this is not going to help anything. Like some of the ways, and that's some of the ways, like, I would encourage anybody who's going through a hard time to change their mindset. And if you're having like extreme thoughts or whatever, or you're really down in the dumps and you're sick, whether it's your mind or whether it's your body, and you're sick because you're stressed out, because stress shows up. Stress can show up as anxiety, it can show up as depression, it can show up as chronic pain, especially like I remember there was now a time after I had even been admitted, I used to have chronic pains because of dealing with some cases that I don't think I was just set up for. And I used to have chronic pains on my upper back and my neck. And it was stress, because I remember when I used to take walks that thing would just go. So stress can show up in many different ways, but I learned, and I would encourage anybody, like, it does you no service to be sick and you still have a problem. So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and make sure that whatever that problem is, it does not seep into your well-being. That's what I would just advise you. Because then I decided, now if I get sick, najisaidia aje? That's just another problem. Now I'm on medication. Now I'm thinking about how to get better while I still have to think about how to do well in school. Like, it benefits nobody. It benefits nobody. And I know it's hard to get yourself to think like that, but I believe even with the help of God and the Holy Ghost, like, you can be able to get through some of these tough situations by changing your mind, by renewing your mind. So by then I was like, you know what? I came here, nobody forced me to do this. I came here to do this because I really wanted to. It has been my dream, and it benefits nobody with me getting sick. So I'm just going to do my best. I'm not going to half-ass it anymore. I'm going to do my absolute best. And if it doesn't count, it doesn't count. That's it. So I was like, Mom, I want to do this one more time. Tuone tutaenda aje around here. So after failing the two more papers, come back in third year. And I remember that was the biggest change. You see that change of mind? It was just like a new slate for me. Because I remember I even started just enjoying life. I started enjoying life. Like, I started doing the things that I loved. I remember my friends and I used to talk about, like, because one of my friends used to do tennis as one of, the things that she loved to do. So we used to ask each other, like, what is your thing? What is the thing that you like to do? You should do more of it. And I started doing piano. I started joining piano classes. And then at that time, God is funny, because at the time also, I found out that I had so much time. So I had piano classes on Saturday mid-mornings. And then I also found out that I had so much time. So this time I would invest it in, on Wednesdays, I'd go for prayers. I started going for prayers. And at the time, because I was still a teenager, like, you would ask yourself, like, unaenda kusema nini? Because I remember one time we went with my friends and they were like bored. They were like, what are we doing here? They were midweek prayers. And me, I used to love it, because just the way, like, I talk here, that's the same way I talk to God. I just sit down and I have a full-on conversation. And I used to love that church because you'd get there, they'd have like a little session of worship, music, and praise. Or was it before or after? I don't know. And then the pastor would just come, give some guidance of, like, what you're supposed to agree on in prayer, and then just give you like a whole 20 something minutes. You just go and you pray on your own. And so during that time, I would just be telling God about, like, my week, what it's been like. It would just be like a date. Ilikuwa kaka a date na Mungu yani. It was so much fun. I used to love it. So that's why I used to want to do it. And then in the evening, now after church, there were these lights that, there was this whole stretch. It was like more than 300 meters that I would walk to nikienda kupanda gari. And there were just lights. It was so beautiful. It was like me time, but with God. It was like me time, but with God. And so I started doing that as well. And that really elevated my life to another level, because my Saturdays were fun, because I was, learning music, which I never completed, by the way, but it was fun. But also now this chance of just like engaging with God and growing that relationship, that was also fun. And then I also found out that because we used to, I don't know if I said this before, but we used to have free days, but we also had like afternoon offs. And so I was like, what am I going to do at the hostel? Like, nitaenda tu nikae. And so I would kill two birds with one stone. On Wednesdays, because we had afternoon offs, we didn't have any classes, I'd go to the library. If I had an assignment, that's when I would do it for like from 2 to 5. That's when I'd do it. And then as I wait to go for prayers at 5:30. So I remember like there was this one paper and I was doing, and there's a certain friend of mine that told me this secret. It was like a strategy actually. And it was like she told me that she was actually younger than me. That's the craziest thing about this. And that's why I usually tell people, like, you don't know who God uses, so don't dismiss people. Whether they are younger, whether they are older, whether they are the same age, everybody has something that they know that you don't know. And so you should always listen to people, give them a chance, give them an opportunity to speak, because that dismissing people, pride will keep you from so many things. So this friend of mine told me something that she uses. Let me see if I can change something here. So she told me about a strategy that she uses, like when she gets into like a new semester or a new year of school. She'll assess after a few weeks, you'll have assessed, like, and even from speaking to other people who have gone before you, like what is easier for you and what is harder for you. And so you strategize and know what to do more of in terms of putting more effort in, and what to, kind of like, you'll know where to put your effort in, you'll know where to allocate more time on. And then for the things that are easy, you make sure that those ones will never be a problem, that those ones are an actual pass. Like, after thinking about that and after that conversation, I just went and I was like, okay, this thing is not just si kubahatisha. People don't just pass by mistake. Na si ati either ulishika ama ukushika. It's what you set out to do. So I remember, and that's what I was talking about, the Wednesdays. One of the papers, I used to really enjoy that class. And so I decided, Junashika hii, this one, I'll make sure that I pass this one because I actually enjoy it. So I remember I did one assignment for like 3 whole weeks on those Wednesday afternoons. And I think it had like 2 or 3 questions. And what I'd do was, I'd go, I do it, I finish it. Then next Wednesday, because I'm actually a very detail-oriented person, so I like to really dig deep when I find something interesting about a topic or something that, I'm researching on. I'll make sure like nimemaliza yote, like hakuna kitu nimebakisha. And so that's what I was doing there. And so the first week I did it, I finished it. The second week I dug into the details. The third week it was just like brushing over and adding like whatever would support the answers I had given. And I remember like it was so much fun. That's when those Wednesday afternoons were when I started actually loving to study. Because since I was a kid, I was one of those, like, I never liked to read. I was never much of a reader ever. Like, even storybooks, I think I only had one that my uncle bought me when I was in lower primary. I never liked to read and I never liked to study. But this was the first time that studying was enjoyable. And it's because I was doing what I like and doing more of it. And then also now, allocating time to the things that are hard and are not easy for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my first A. After, imagine getting your first A in third year. It was crazy. That was my first A in that unit. Um, yeah, and I started just doing more of that. And so my whole third year picked up. My grades started looking up. My life also started looking up because now I was like, I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to be stressed about anyone or anything. And I made some really big changes. Even socially, I made some changes that were, good for me. In terms of even spiritual growth, I made some changes that were also, beneficial to me. And so, like, I can say during that time, I, I really, I really grew and I really changed a lot. And I think that was the tipping point. The tipping point was that failure in second year, and even me getting sick in that conversation with my mom, because I was like, if I really want to do this, and I'm doing this because I want to, not because I have ever been forced by anyone, then let's have fun with it. And immediately I switched my mentality to actually enjoying it and not worrying about it, and actually, seeing, because the thing was, time yote I'm talking about that I had time, I always had time. I was not a working student, so I never had actual other responsibilities at the time. It's just that I never allocated time to study, and though I attended all my classes, I never allocated actual time to study and to do more, you know, and that half-assing thing, like you're going to put effort but not enough, just a little bit. You don't want to overexert yourself. I found that doesn't work. That doesn't work. If you really want something, enjoy it, put time in it, put your heart in it, and I promise you it's gonna give you what you're looking for. Because third year everything started looking up. And I think now in my next episode I'm going to be talking about my final year and, you know, finishing out the degree. Yeah, it was quite something. But that journey was not easy. Oh, and did I mention that second year now going to third year? Like, hata kama unasikia nilikuwa naanguka, imagine sikuwa peke yangu. Sikuwa peke yangu. I remember guys were chujwad. It was a scary situation for real. It was a scary situation. Guys were chujwad. Like, there were so many people that we started with that we never pushed to third year with. So that was serious. And even you see this third exam that I was talking about that I failed in second year. Yeah, it was evidence too. As I was saying, like, hiyo tulisukumana nayo the whole third year because we did it. So then we did it in April before now coming to third year. We did it again. And then I remember it was one of those exams that, eh, it's like one of those foundational units. So you can't really say, it was serious. And I remember one of the people when nilikuwa nasema that ka group we had that we would fail, come back, do the exam again, tunapata si wote tumefail tena, tunaifanya tena hivyo. That ka group when we were graduating, there's this girl who was just reminding us, like, do you remember how much we did that paper? And so even when it came to KSL, when now like even when people had receipts in KSL and by God's grace I didn't get a receipt, like I could somehow empathize. I could somehow empathize, because even KSL, like people, like there is so much of that redoing and repeating of the same thing that it can be like even mentally exhausting. But I'm so glad that I experienced that in third year instead of now KSL. Because KSL, you had to pay so much money. And we'll talk about it. But in third year, it would only cost you 800 to do a supplementary. But in KSL, the exam is 5,000, but the receipt is double. And then you do it a couple of times. So me, I was just like, I could empathize, though I can't really, understand because of the financial, implications of failing that exam in KSL, but I could empathize with people who like experienced that. And so I think this video is getting too long. It's already dark. It's already dark actually. And I'm trying really hard to just kind of get everything in this video so that the next one will be a different one. But yeah, that was my second year, third year. I can just call it like my law school, my university journey. And yeah, I think in my next one I'm going to talk about like just the finalization and graduation and what God did then. Because in this one, I think the major thing that God taught me was like to just be still and to have peace. To be still and to have peace. And so I think that's the dimension I'm trying to show here. He is Jehovah Shalom. He can give you peace to just be still. Even if things are so rocky and things are happening, just be still and have peace. Things work better when you're in that still mode. Yeah, so thank you for watching. See you in my next one.